I'm Xander.
And I'm Joe.
And you're watching Cooking with Love Bites. Before you cook, you should always, always, always wash your hands and clean your counters. So, I'm making an orange cake. It was for my best friend's birthday. It's actually, I remember because Joe asked me, well, does she like those flavors? And I was like, well, she likes chocolate. But the orange part is because orange is her favorite color. And, like, back when we turned 25, which seems like a long time ago, I made her a dreamsicle cake. But that one was, like, white cake flavored orange with cream and vanilla. So, but I wanted to pay homage to this. So it's a chocolate orange cake.
It sounds so good.
And so I've got the oil and buttermilk. So the oil, I usually use mayo. But instead of oil, because I don't like oil. But with just the oil, I also use buttermilk to keep it moist. But if you use mayo, it's less liquidy and it gets you a really, really moist cake. My friend hates mayo, so that's why I gave her an oil cake. And the ratio is actually the same, so if you use like a cup of oil, you use a cup of mayonnaise, which, just letting y'all know, that's a lot of mayonnaise.
Can you taste it in the cake, though?
No, can't taste it, nothing. Which is, honestly, the first time I heard of a mayo cake, I was like, that's disgusting. That's like vinegar and everything. But no, it's not, you can't taste anything in it once it's all said and done. Yeah, no, you don't taste it at all. It just makes it really moist. And so, okay, so this upcoming one, I totally make a mistake, and it's in here and everything. I am so stupid, and I should shake the pan, but instead I just push my hand in there and swipe around it. And it's like, that's not how you're supposed to do this. And I realized it like way too late. You're supposed to just shift it around so that everything gets covered and everything. But I don't know why. At the time, I just was like, okay, here goes my hand.
Get it nice and spread out.
Yeah, no, what I'm doing here, you're supposed to like knock it, and kind of like how like when you're little and you're playing with glitter, you put the glue down and then you pour the glitter over it and kind of shift it so that it all gets covered.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you're nice and covered. Whatever the technique, it still works in the end.
And I took this off to the side and I used a mixer because I did not have an electrical outlet anywhere near the table, which is where I was filming. So I'm like, yeah, you know what? Magically mixed batter. There you go. It's so bubbly, too.
Well, that's from the extra liquid, right?
Yeah. It's like, that's why I like mayo, because it's not so much liquid. And, like, the bubbles aren't bad. Like, they rise eventually and stuff. But, like, sometimes you can see, like, the bubbles, like, when they come out of the oven. You can see where the bubbles tried to come up, and they just kind of like half-burst bubbles.
Oh, okay, yeah, you can see it get trapped in the cake and whatnot.
Mm-hmm. I mean, really, it doesn't matter. It's gonna be iced and everything. So I tried, a good way to try to get rid of bubbles is like shake it, kind of like stomp it against the table. Stomp it, hit it against the table. Like the little openings you see there, that's where like bubbles try to come out. And okay. I didn't use parchment paper, I just used Crisco and flour. Mostly because I already have no room in my kitchen, so I don't like more things than I need to have in my kitchen, so I don't try to buy parchment paper, especially because I wouldn't use it that much. So the Crisco and flour thing works just fine for me, but if you're a parchment paper kind of person, parchment paper person, then you can have it. I just
Well,
don't like it.
It popped right out.
Yeah, I just used a little spatula and kind of glided it across and then pop.
So if you're using parchment paper, you line the bottom. Do you line around the sides too?
I actually don't know. I've never used parchment paper. I don't know how that works. It's not in my repertoire of knowledge. I have no idea. Hannibal would know.
Yeah, that's true. Well, sometimes on Failed It, I see them either using a ton of butter, a ton of pan spray, or they're using parchment paper. So I guess there's a variety of techniques and whatnot.
Yeah. And I cut the cake so that you can get the perfectly flat shape, because when you bake cakes in a round tin, they can dome, and it gets hard to like layer everything. So I just kind of, that's what I was doing on the lower half too, is just cutting it all off so you get like a nice decent sized or leveled cake. And if you have a child handy, you can feed them the scraps and they're gone. Or if you can just feed them to yourself if you want.
Yeah, I'd be feeding myself.
And num 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 num. This chocolate frosting was so good.
So how did you make the frosting?
Lots of butter and cocoa powder, which the cocoa powder was actually because I went to the store and they had like the regular like Hershey's cocoa powder or blah blah blah, and I was like, oh, is that all they have? And then I saw next to it the oh my gosh, what's the chocolate company? It starts with a G.
Oh, Ghirardelli?
Ghirardelli, thank you. I was blanking. And I was like, oh man, Ghirardelli. And then I was like, she's worth it. And I grabbed the extra stuff. I was like, Hershey's or Ghirardelli's, I mean.
If you can find the Ghirardelli brownie mix at Costco,
ooh,
so good.
I actually used the Ghirardelli white chocolate custard for the cupcake, the Hannibal cupcake. Inside is for the inside, which is like, oh gosh, this white chocolate is so good. Oh, I messed up here too, because all the icing is supposed to be like super super stiff, but because I was mixing the colors with it so much, it got like melty. So if you're using Russian tips, please put it in the fridge for a little bit after you mix your colors so that you have like a stiff icing so your flowers come out really pretty, unlike that blobby mess right down there. Ta-da!
It's so pretty.
I had so much fun making this cake.
Yeah, I didn't know that you could, like, it holds its shape really well. Buttercream.
Yeah, it does. I think I will say I am more partial to cream cheese than buttercream, but buttercream works too. That's all. Thanks for watching, everybody. And be on the lookout for future cooking videos and posts, as well as updates on the Love Bites zine. Bye!
See you next time!